Morning. Well, no, I don't know why I always come on and say good morning. Good afternoon, though. Good afternoon. Welcome in, welcome in to another edition. Well, we can't even really call this another edition, right? Because this is more of the first edition. Because when we were together 2 weeks ago, we switched this from the single life to the purpose life. And I'll highlight a little bit of that today. But if you missed it, I implore you to go check out the single life from 2 weeks ago so you can have a better revelation and a better understanding of why this is no longer the single life and why it's called the purpose life going forward. Okay. So yeah, go check that out. Check that out. But welcome, because now this is the first edition of the purpose life, right? The purpose life. Welcome in. First edition, first Monday. We got some work to do. We got to lay the foundation, right? We have to lay the foundation. A house is only as good as its foundation, right? So let's get into it. The purpose life. We are going to be covering under the subheading, the purpose life, his glory. Not my glory, not your glory, but his glory, okay? That's all we're seeking. That's the focal point. That's the mission. That's the name of the game. His glory, right? All right, so listen. I'll say this so it's clear. My purpose in life is to bring God glory, not satisfy myself, not attain titles, not to do things that I feel like complete me or empower me. My purpose in life is to give God glory. That's it. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. That's your purpose. That's our purpose. We are not here for us, right? We're not here to chase whatever we like. Oh man, I really want this title. This title is gonna make me be whatever. We're not here to chase titles. We're not here to chase. Ooh, you're gonna see where I'm going. Okay, listen. Because listen, do you know that marriage is a title, right? That's a title, right? When you say I'm single or I'm married, that's a title, right? We're not here to chase titles. We're here to chase purpose, to walk in purpose, right? So let's get to the definition of purpose, though. Y'all know me, like I have to make it clear. So purpose, the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. Think about that. Purpose, by definition, is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. So can I ask you a question? If purpose means the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists, that would mean that that purpose has to come from something. You cannot give yourself purpose. How? Did you create you? As long as the answer to you creating you is no, then that means you can't give yourself purpose. Somebody says, oh man, I feel like my purpose in life is to, that's you going wrong already. Because my purpose in life is to do what God called me to do. My purpose in life is to bring him glory. Whatever platform, whatever means that is, whatever avenue, whatever space, whatever gift he's given me is to bring him glory. That is my purpose. I cannot assign a purpose to me. Why? Because purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. So only the person creating can give purpose. And last time I checked, you nor me are doing any creating on that level. So we can't give purpose. We can't give purpose. I think that's something we get lost in. That's something we misunderstand, that we feel like we can assign a purpose to ourselves. I don't care what you feel. I'm not here to debate what you feel. I'm not here to debate what you think. Your purpose can only come from God. And anything that you try to assign to yourself is you telling you, this is my, no, baby, my purpose is to bring him glory, whatever that is. Whatever that is, the purpose comes from him. Don't worry about it. I figured you would stagger at that. I figured you would have, y'all know where I'm coming. Let's go Genesis 1, 26 through 27. Let's start with the basis. Genesis 1, 26 through 27. Come on now. All right, Genesis 1, verse 26. Then God said, let us make human beings in our image to be like us. You can't assign a purpose. You can't assign a purpose. Then God said, let us make human beings in our image to be like us. They will reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals on the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground. Verse 27. So God created human beings. God created human beings. You didn't create human beings. I didn't create human beings. So because of that, we cannot assign purpose to human beings. Only the creator can assign purpose. So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's get to, do me a favor. Let's jump to Ephesians 2:10. Ephesians, here we go. Ephesians 2:10. You ready? Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's masterpiece. Doesn't that show ownership? Doesn't that show ownership? You don't belong to you. For we, us, are God's masterpiece. How can I assign a purpose if I didn't create me? I'm not here for me. I'm here to walk out a purpose that God preordained for my life. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Jesus Christ so we can do the things he planned for us long ago. How do you feel like you can assign a purpose to you if your purpose is to walk out the good things that God planned long ago? You cannot assign a purpose to you. See, this is why we had to switch from the single life to the purpose life. Because I can't see, single implies a position in life. And in a weird way, it makes us shoot for marriage, which is another title in life. And I'm not knocking marriage. I'm not knocking it. So please don't hear that. I'm not knocking marriage. What I'm saying is that's not the purpose. The purpose is what God assigned to my life. The purpose isn't for me to go chase a title. The purpose is for me to chase or walk out what God called me to do. Somebody stopped me at church yesterday and they said, George, like, you're getting old. You 36, right? 37? I said, I'm 36. Yeah. They like, man, when you plan on getting married? Yeah, whenever God says it's time. Whenever God says it's time. I'm not chasing that. I'm not going to idolize marriage. I'm not going to idolize that position. The only position that I desire is where God planted me. My purpose. That's all I desire. I'm not seeking anything else. It doesn't appetize me. At one point it did. Oh my gosh, there were so many other things I chased, but purpose is the only thing that withstands test of time. God did not create you for you. He created you for his use. Hence why he seeks to provide for you, because he's your father, and no father desires to see their child struggle, starve, or go without. That's another conversation for another day, but that's because he created you. Because he created you, he said, it's my job to take care of you. See, again, we get off because God created us with the intent of us walking out his plan and him taking care of us. That's what he was teaching the children of Israel the whole 40 years that they were out in the wilderness. My job is to take care of you, to provide for you, right? As your father. You walk in purpose, I walk in provision. I provide. Don't get the order mixed up. See, when you step outside of that and you think that you can assign purpose to you, I can assign purpose. That means I no longer need you, God, to take care of me, because now I'm giving myself assignments. I'm giving myself things to do. I'm giving myself things to go after. No, nothing wrong with setting goals. But there's a difference between setting goals and setting godly goals. God, this is what, see, here's a godly goal. Celibacy. There's a godly goal. You don't want to chase that one, though. That's a godly goal. Here's a godly goal. I need to stop cursing. That's not what God called me to do. That's a godly goal. Let me set that one. Spending more time with God. That's a godly goal. Spending more time in the word. That's a godly goal. See, there are goals that you can set within his purpose, within his intent, within his scope for your life, right? Okay. All right. Think about this. God created me, and by me, I mean me, but you also, God created us for his use. Why did we ever elevate titles over his purpose? Think about that. Why did we ever take this notion to start elevating certain titles over God's purpose? What do I mean? We're more focused on the title than God's call for our lives. We're more focused on whatever it is that we think appeases us or pleases us in the natural sense than purpose. Okay. All right. I got you. Let's look at Matthew 6:19 through 21. Let's look at Matthew 6:19 through 21. For those of you who want to know, you know I'm always reading out of the NLT. I love the NLT. That's where I love to shoot from. Not to say that I don't respect other texts or other transcripts, other versions. I do. I use them. But my go-to is always going to be the NLT. Like, I just love the NLT. All right. So Matthew 6:19 through 21. Matthew 6:19 through 21. It's in red in my text, right? It's in red in my text. Matthew 6:19 through 21. Don't store up treasures here on earth where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Where your treasure is, there the desires of your hearts will be. Now, question. This text, when I read it, it speaks to a value system. It speaks to what you value, what you pursue, right? What you pursue on earth. Do you desire, I have to attain a certain level here on earth? For who? For you? To make yourself feel good. To check a box. To check a box, to check a thing that you said, I must do this. This is going to validate me. Well, let me ask you a question. When you check that box, how come it didn't validate you? How come you chased that box and you checked that box and then you still felt empty? How come you checked that box and then you still felt like I need to go do something else now? And then I need to go do something else. Why? Because you are chasing things that make you feel good, not walking in purpose. There's a difference. That's why the text says, don't store up treasures here on earth where moths eat them and then rust destroys them. See, the things that you do, material things, the titles that you chase, they can be taken away easily. A title will never make me. A title will never validate me. A title will never make me feel secure. I'm not here for titles. I love it where, like I said, Matthew as well, and Luke also, where the disciples were arguing about who is the greatest. And Jesus told them that the greatest is the one who takes them the lowest role, the lowest route. He walking in purpose. I'm fully submitted. I don't care about titles. Y'all want to argue about titles. It doesn't matter to me. The only title that I care about is purpose. That's the only one I care about, purpose. I don't care, bro. I could be 40 and not married and not care because I would rather walk in purpose. That is what I want. That is what you should want. That is what God calls us to do. Chase purpose, not titles. That's a shirt for somebody, right? Chase purpose, not titles. I need you to understand this. Work plus investments, or work plus investment equals your heart's desire. Work plus investment equals your heart's desire. What do I mean? Okay, work, effort, what you're doing, plus investment. Do I mean a monetary investment? Not really. I mean time. That is an investment. Guess what that shows? Where my heart's desire is. Okay, if your heart's desire is purpose, if you tell me your heart's desire is truly purpose, then tell me how much time you are investing with God on a daily basis. I'm just going to go back and look at your time. See, the time where you spend your time will let me know where your heart is. You spend your time studying. You spend your time working. You spend your time qualifying a title or something that validates you for others, and very minimal time with God. Then you can't tell me you're interested in purpose. You can't tell me you're interested in purpose. You will sit up all day on the phone talking to somebody and then say, man, I'm too sleepy to read the word. I'm going to get to it tomorrow. You just showed me where your desire is, where your heart is. Your heart isn't focused on purpose. You feel like I gotta spend time with him because if I don't spend time with him, how else am I gonna get married? I don't care. I'm married to purpose. I'm married to purpose. I'm not married to a title. Like, I promise you, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, a funny story, true story too. True story. A couple years ago, a parent, one of our parents of the school, well, summer camp school, right? He says to me, he says, "Man, Mr. George, I just now realized who you were." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, I just realized like you're George Matthews, like your dad is the pastor." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he was like, "Why didn't you say anything?" I said, "Why would I? Why would I?" He said, "Man, I just thought you were like a doorman up here, like you just hold the door and let people in." I said, "Great, that's how I like it." He couldn't believe that, but I truly, like, I don't care about a title. A title will never validate me. Purpose validates me. Purpose validates me. See, you serve purpose when nobody's around. You want people to see the elevation based on what you've been doing in the darkness, in your quiet time, in your spare time. But that doesn't happen without the submission, the investment, the time. Okay, let's get it. Deuteronomy 8, 2 through 5. Let's go. We got to move. Deuteronomy 8, 2 through 5. Deuteronomy 8, 2 through 5. Here we go. Deuteronomy 8, 2 through 5. Verse 2. Remember how the Lord your God led you through the wilderness for these 40 years, humbling you and testing you to prove your character and find out whether or not you would obey his commands. That right there proves God is testing you to see if you want to walk in purpose, if you're here to serve him or you. You don't like that, but it's the truth. God wants to see, are you here to serve me or are you here to serve you? Is it about your purpose? Is it about your titles? Is it about your validation? Is it about people giving you recognition? Or is it about me? Is it about my glory? Is it about you being a vessel that I could use no matter what? What is it about? What is it about? See, you want to get married for a title. I don't want to be single my whole life. I don't want to die single. You're not single. You're not single. I'm going to get to that in a second. I don't want to, like, I don't want to not, you don't want to not what? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to do everything but purpose. You want to do everything that serves you currently and purpose later. Everything that makes you feel good right now and purpose later. Everything that validates your very essence, your being, and purpose later. That's not how this works. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. The word says it. Remember how the Lord your God led you through the wilderness for these 40 years, humbling you and testing you to prove your character and to find out whether or not you would obey his commands. Verse 3, yes, he humbled you by letting you go hungry, then feeding you with manna, a food previously unknown to you and your ancestors. He did it to teach you that people do not live by bread alone. Rather, we live by the word, every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Pause. Pause. He said, I'm gonna let you, I let you be hungry for a second. I'm still your father. I'm still your provider. I've already done it, but I need to see. See, when your back's really against the wall, what is your response? You can tell me all day that you focus on purpose, but when purpose costs you something, when purpose brings struggle, when purpose isn't necessarily a joyful time, when you're in that part of purpose where you're being stretched and you're uncomfortable, when you're in that part of purpose, you know, in order to grow, you got to get uncomfortable. You have to be stretched. So when you hit that little part of purpose where you're being stretched and you're being pushed and you're being pressed, what is your response? Are you still walking in purpose, or is it like, nah, this ain't for me. This for somebody else? That's what he's testing to see. Verse 5, think about it. Think about it. Just as a parent disciplines a child, the Lord your God disciplines you for your own good. See, that's when you really have matured in your mind. You understand, God, you're disciplining me, but I'm not upset with the discipline because I know the discipline is going to yield to something greater. The discipline is going to help me remove certain things from my life. The discipline is going to help me abstain from certain things, stay away from certain things, change my mindset and my thought process towards certain things. That's what the discipline is for. So I'm going to still remain in purpose. I'm going to still walk in purpose. I'm still committed to purpose. I'm not committed to anything other. Purpose. Purpose. I need you to understand this. The devil has limited power. The devil has limited power. Understand this. He has limits and he knows it. He cannot make us do anything. He can't make you do something. The devil made you do it. No, he didn't. Your desire for that title or your desire for that material thing made you do it. Your lack of desire for God's purpose for your life and a greater desire for the things that you want naturally for your life made you do it. So you got to think about it. When the devil tested Jesus, he had to ask permission. He couldn't push Jesus off. He couldn't push him off. When he said, hey, if God is your God and angels, the word says, and as he's quoting the word, the angels, they will not let you dash your foot against a stone. Go ahead and jump. He couldn't push him. He couldn't push him. When he said, hey, you need to turn these rocks into bread. He had to ask. Everything he had to ask, he couldn't just do. We've got to have that understanding as we walk in purpose. The devil, he's always around. He's around. But he can't make you because he's already been defeated. He doesn't have more power than God. So I'm going to remain in purpose. I don't know. I don't care how good you made that thing over there. Look, I'm going to remain in purpose. I'm going to remain in purpose. You are tested to show which purpose you serve. You are tested to show which purpose you serve. Your purpose or God's purpose? Your purpose or God's purpose? See, for some of us, that's why we can't elevate because we haven't shown ourselves faithful to God's purpose yet. You say it, but God looks at the heart. You say it, but God looks at the heart. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. My brother came to show me last week, and if y'all were at service yesterday, you saw, I don't know if you paid attention, but we had these little things on certain chairs around the sanctuary, and it says scan me, right? And when you scan it, it brings up information about the church, right? And different businesses have that. Like somebody will show you like a digital business card for you to scan it, and then all their, their resume and everything pulls up and yada, 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 right? You go to a restaurant and you're scanning and it shows you the menu, right? So like you scan the digital barcode or whatever, and it brings up certain information. I'm going to ask you a very simple question today. It's not a hard one. It's not a complex one. You don't have to think a lot. Here it is. If somebody scans you, what would come up? What purpose would show? The actions that you've been carrying out, what would they represent? Would they represent your purpose or God's purpose? If you were scanned today, what would show? What would pop? This was for me. This was for me. This was for me. This was for me. Where is God in that? Where is God in that? Which one of these line items are God's purpose for your life? Everything looks to be self-serving. Everything looks to be about you. That's why the relationships won't work, because we keep trying to chase a relationship and not a relationship with God. We're chasing a relationship with a significant other. I just want God. Let God be first. Everything else will follow. Let God be first. Seek ye first the kingdom. Let God be first. Let God be first. Okay. Can I ask y'all a question? And I tell y'all, well, I ain't gonna ask y'all a question. I'll tell y'all a story. So a lot of times when we travel, right, we'll, like, as a family, we'll do like an Airbnb so we can all stay together. You know what I mean? Not like doing hotels so everybody in different. No, we do like an Airbnb, right? And so my mom is really big on, when we hit the Airbnb, before you drop a bag, before you do anything, turn your camera on, walk around and scan the house. Like, do a video of the house so we can show what the house looked like when we walked into the house. And so that, if anything's wrong, we can, hey, y'all need to come see this right now because we didn't do it and we're not responsible for it, right? If you're not doing it, put that in your mind so you do that when you travel, right? Okay, so listen. But why does she have us do that? Because the house is rented. So if something is broken while we are there, that becomes our responsibility to pay for it. They can tell us it's whatever price they dictate because we don't know, we weren't there when they bought it, right? So to avoid that, right, you go ahead and show, hey, this was the condition of the house. And also, while we're there, we're very careful not to do foolish things in the house to tear up or break anything because we don't want to be responsible for the price tag that goes with it. Stay with me. I need you to understand your body was bought with a price that you can't pay, which means your body is rented. It's not yours, it's rented. So if it's rented, that means you must proceed through life with caution because you have a rented body. I can't keep being foolish doing things that serve me. I can't keep doing things that are going to destroy this body because there's a cost that was associated with this body that I did not pay. I didn't pay. I couldn't pay it. You don't. Okay. 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Come on. All right, let's move quick and close this down. 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Here you go. I love when the Bible talks to me with some aggression, right? Don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. So you must honor God with your body. My body is rented, it's not mine. So I cannot afford to chase titles that are going to cost me something. I cannot afford to be in situations that are self-serving to me, but they're going to cost this body something because the word said this body was bought with a high price. It's not mine. It's not mine. So I've got to walk like it's not mine. I've got to treat this body like I don't want to tear anything up. I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to break anything. I don't want to. Listen, what? Don't you understand? Don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself. It's clear you don't belong to yourself. It's very clear. You don't belong to yourself. So then how can you be out here assigning purpose to your life if you don't belong to you? You don't like that. I knew you wouldn't. How can you assign a purpose? My purpose is this. No, it's not. Your purpose is what God called you to do. Your purpose is what God called you to do. You can't create a purpose. How do you create a purpose for something that's not yours? Do you go into a rented house and decide, hey, we're going to be here for a week. We're going to change the paint in here? No, because it's not yours. You don't own it. You don't go in that house and do anything in the house other than sleep and stay because it's not yours. It's rented. So if it's rented and I know that, I carry myself, I act accordingly. This isn't mine. So why are you out here acting like your life is yours and you make decisions and you go after things? Bro, your life has a purpose. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. You got to say that. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. Galatians 2:20. Galatians 2:20. Here we go. Galatians 2:20. My old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. No, that's verse 21. My bad. So I'll read verse 20 again. My old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. What is being stated here? It's not about me. I'm dead to my old self. I'm dead to the version of me that was here to serve me. I'm dead to the version of me that was chasing titles. I'm not chasing marriage. I'm not. I'm not chasing these things. I'm not chasing a certain career. I'm chasing purpose. That old version of me that served me, that old version of me that cared about me, that old version of me that only wanted to do things that benefited me, it's dead. It's dead. Paul was stating very clearly, my life is no longer about me. He had a revelation that his body was rented. It wasn't for him. So he couldn't assign purpose to himself. He couldn't make those decisions. When are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? God, okay. I'll close with this. Proverbs 23:7. Proverbs 23:7. I'm closing with that. What's my time? 30 minutes. Proverbs 23:7. Yeah. Proverbs 23:7, right? Dang, that's not it. That's not, I think it's, hold on. My bad. Where are we? Hold on one second. Because that's gonna take me somewhere else. And that's not what I was trying to get to. Guys, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna read it from the King James version. Okay. I'm gonna read it from the King James version. I'm gonna come. It is Proverbs 23:7. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But I had it in my. Okay. Boom. You ready? Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Okay. That's Proverbs 23:7, King James version. Now, Proverbs 23:7 NLT version. They are always thinking about how much it costs. Eat and drink, they say, but they do not mean it. Guess what we're talking about? You and how you view